Hello, my name is Henry Emphrey. This is a Blitz 3D game development tutorial. I'm doing this tutorial because there are no real Blitz 3D tutorials on YouTube about how to do animations. And I'm not just talking about just how to move shapes and cubes and circles around the screen and how to make colors blink. No, I'm talking about how to do real animations and how to make your characters run, punch, or you could take what you learned in this tutorial and give your character the motion of shooting a gun or climbing or whatever else you want to do. I find that these days in many game development tutorials, whether it involves a programming language or game engine, I find that animations are not usually covered enough. And yet, animations are a very important part of game development. Animated characters walking, running, fighting, shooting is what tells the story. And I mean, that's what got us all into playing and being interested in video games in the first place, right? You can expand on this and use this tutorial as a supplement for other Blitz tutorials on YouTube and the web. So without further ado, let's get started. So now the way I set up this tutorial is I set it up so I won't really be doing a lot of typing, and you can also kind of like read the comments of like what I wrote and what things do to save some time. So yeah, of course I set up my graphics. My screen will be between 640, 680, and then I set up the keys that I'm going to use and their key codes right here. Then I created my camera and then positioned it behind the player. Then I created my light and put it in a suitable, I had to rotate it a little bit so it can be in a suitable direction. This thing here, in this Henry 2.b3d, I put all of my animations on this one animation frame strip. So my idle animation, my walking animation, and my punch animation are all on one animation film strip. And you can see how I made my character and rigged the animations and put them all together in some tutorials that I made via the link below. So, okay, so that's my man. That's man. And by the way, it's actually me. So that's who the man is. And then here's the very important part. I attached the camera and the man together, so via this command right here, this entity parent command. That's so that when the man moves, the camera will move along with it right, from behind him. And again, earlier I positioned the camera right behind the man. As you can see up here. And then I took that animation frame strip that I talked about earlier, this one, and on that B3D Henry 2.b3d animation field strip is on the between the third and fourth frame. So, and my walking animation on that same film strip is between the 5th and 30th frame, and my punching animation is between the 31st and 99th frame. I used the extract anim sequence to extract the animations that I was going to use on all three of these. Then I made my ground. I set my ground and then set it to the middle of the screen, and then I made my texture. I got my texture off of Google. Actually, you can get yours from wherever you want. Then I attach my ground to the texture using this entity texture command. Then I scaled my ground so that it can be a nice size on the screen. Then I created my sky. My sky is actually a sphere, and this is its 60th its size. And then I created my sky texture. Like I said, you can have whatever texture you want for your sky. I got mine off of Google. You can get yours wherever you want. Then I flipped the sky so that it could be above the player. And then I scaled the sky so that it won't be a little bitty ball. And that is, I scaled the sky so that the sky could be much bigger, much bigger than the player is, so it can look natural. Then I positioned the sky. Then I put my sky and its texture together using this entity texture command. Then the while not key down is the game is where the game loop starts. Just write this. Don't worry about I mean, that's the usual stuff. And then I set my you remember those constant keys that I wrote that I had earlier. Well, I set my keys. These are my up key, my down key, my right key, and my left key. So just copy these things down. Like I said, the usual stuff again. And then right here is where I'm setting up the walking animation, so that when the keys are above or pressed, this is what triggers the animation. Let me see. So if one of these keys are pressed down here, I said if one of these keys are pressed, then start the animation. Otherwise, don't do anything. And this is the actual animation here. I said under these conditions, if the time is right and the animation length is right, then play the animation. So that's what I'm saying here. So I did the same thing with the punch. You know, if the A key is pressed, then do the animation. Otherwise, don't do it. Else means otherwise. Don't do it. Then, if the time is right and if the animation length is at this correct part, go ahead and actually trigger the animation. And another important part, and another thing that I think Blitz Basic has us do is I think that Blitz in order for your animations to work correctly, you have to, at least in Blitz 3D, and when you're dealing with animated meshes in Blitz 3D, Blitz would like for you to have at least some kind of animation going on at all times. So the way I got it set up is if my character's not walking or punching, then it does this idle animation. And you know, idle animation could be your character breathing, or just sitting there, or maybe not doing anything at all. It can be what your idle animation can be, whatever you want it to be, but I think it has to have some kind of animation. Otherwise, your animations won't work correctly. And finally, I rendered the world so you can see things on screen. Flip so you can see things on screen. And when is the end of the loop here. So you can go back and pause the video as needed and go back and look through what I did. But before this tutorial ends, let's hit this run button and see how it works. So this is my character, this is my ground, and this is my sky. And if I hit the up arrow key, he moves forward. If I hit the right arrow key, he turns. If I hit the back arrow key, he goes backwards. Well, this is unnatural, but you can get. I mean, you get the point. Then if you hit the right key, he turns to the right. So that's all I wanted to show you. You can go ahead and expand on these animations. Maybe you can add him shooting, or you can add him climbing, or you can add him driving, or whatever else, you know. But so that you can, you know, really get your game in motion, and so you can really have action going on in the screen, and you know, really create your story and all that stuff. So that's what this tutorial is about. And until next time, goodbye.